see Corvette after Corvette after Corvette and try to pick out something that's interesting is tough. So some of the things you would see only if you were here this year is what we're going to point out, and hopefully that's good enough. So we're lucky that you're joining us, so stay tuned. We think the third most important thing you'd want to see in 2024 Carlisle would be the Challenge Cup cars that are here from the C4s. Now mostly they're all the same. They're all set up about the same. You've got the same wheels. You've got different livery, of course, because of everyone's different associations. But back then, you would see a sea of these cars. Back then being, I guess, the 90s and 80s, late 80s through the mid 90s, you would see these cars racing in some sort of circuit challenge series. So let's check on one that has the windows down and see if we can poke out some stuff here. Here's a great one. We've got this one all available for us to check out. So what would it take to make up a challenge car? Cole, what do we think here? We definitely need the racing...
We need the roll cage.
We need the official Cup wheels, which kind of look like the Callaway wheels. Look how the bar goes in. And then I guess that would be interesting. Not sure what that is, but I bet that connects to some sort of fire suppression, I would think. Extra computer, and then racing harnesses and racing Recaro, maybe Recaro seats. I don't know. You have to step over the bar. The typical turbojet port injection, LS supercharged motor. It's got to be stock from what I understand. So even the air filter is the same. Nothing really looks, even the braking system would be stock, OEM. I don't really see anything that'd be different for the Challenge Series.
Smells like burning rubber.
Yep, this car was on and it's probably running hot. So the exhaust is no longer out of the back. So the question is, where would the exhaust be coming from? Where does the exhaust come out? And here it is. Ready? All right. So something cool about the Challenge Series is that something you wouldn't know, that most of them have the exhaust porting out of the side of the rear quarter panel. But that one actually has it coming straight out typical. I like that setup better. What do we think the number 2 must see at Carlisle 2024 is?
Well, I think it's the corral. It's 2 big white pavilions that have a bunch of cars in them that people are trying to sell. What about you, Dad?
I think the same. All right, we're going to show you the cars and we're going to point out pricing. So in the same video, you're going to get what is the cost of a C1, C2, maybe even a C3 at this time 2024 Carlisle.
Make sure to stop by the GMC 10 and pick up your Corvette poster.
Okay, in the corral we've got cars for sale. This is where the trading goes on for if you would like to buy any version of a Corvette. But in particular, it's where the high dollar values come out for C1, C2, desirable mid-years. We're gonna bring you through a handful of them, talk about price, and talk about rarity.
145.
All right, so here's some examples. And this one is the 67 427 40 horsepower, air conditioning, top flight. It really just has a great pedigree for this car. This is going to cost you $145,000. It's got a big block, black Stinger. Now on the other side, we've got convertible in marble red, I believe it's called. This is also a 67. It's also a big block. This is another 427-400. Again, kind of the same pedigree as the other, with triple crown winner. Now this one's going to sit at $157,500. So $157,000 for the vert with the big block. And this car is mostly in original shape, back, you know, not really much done to it. Original hardtop. You can tell there's pitting. We're not talking major restoration. In fact, this paint, you can tell it's failing a bit, but this is original. And so in original condition, you're looking at 145. So original condition. 66. Okay. So another original motor, factory air, power steering. It's a decent restoration, and this is going to cost you $89,500. So we're looking at a 327, 350 horsepower. Definitely a great job on the engine bay from Resto, and all the parts and all the bits definitely look to be correct bits for the car. Paint looks to be in decent condition. All right, for sale, if this one catches your eye, this is actually a reproduction of a very rare car. The rare car would be $1 million plus, but this car can never be reproduced again. This is the second one. It even says original car is 7-figure, could not rebuild this car. This is about $250,000 for this recreation. See if you can figure out what is different between this and a typical C1 Corvette. And there are call-outs like wire wheels wasn't really a thing. These side vents weren't either. We've got a fin in the back. The badging on it is Chevy badging. All right, here you're gonna see the tribute to the SR2. And in this one, surprising to know it's automatic. So there's like 69,000 miles on this frame. But the dash is completely different, of course. The wheel is different. Anybody that knows the cars without being an SR would know what to look at. Very cool with the fin in the back. Now for a C1 Corvette, this is 1957. This one is Bloomington Gold as well. This is a desirable configuration or spec with black with red interior. It's also the desirable engine that you'd want. This one's going to set you 97.5 for 57 C1 Corvette. All right, if you're looking for a 63 fuel injection, well, there's something really wrong with this whole setup, but this is a 63. It definitely is not fuel injected, at least not at the moment it isn't. Right now, it's got the 340 horsepower setup. And they want this one to be $138,500 because it has one owner for 43 years, original, not really much restored on it. It has, looks to be blue, no, it's black interior. All right. Now, if you're wondering what this actually is a car. This is a thing. There are many of them done like this. It's called the Corvette Sports Wagon. This would be a C3 Corvette. And they're looking for $75,000 on this car if you wanted to get this one-off C3 Corvette. So what do you think, Cole? We've seen C1, C2, and C3 Corvettes, all pretty unique in their offerings.
Well,
Look at the plush interior in that car. Wow.
definitely unique.
Yeah, it's kind of a station wagon, right?
How do you open this? Or you don't?
You don't. Yep. So for us at Carlisle, this would be the #1 attraction here at 2024 Carlisle, the ZR1 cutout. There's a black ZR1 that's over here. It doesn't have all the aero on it, but unfortunately they're not letting anybody sit in it. It's just a sea of people. Everybody wants to be around this car. We're not going to talk much, we're just going to show it to you.
This is the cutout out of the ZR1.
Yep. So what we want to do is we want to trace. The unique thing about the ZR1 would be this extra duct that comes into the boomerang, and we're going to trace it and see where that goes, right? Comes out through here, and it probably feeds into the turbos. We think that that feeds into the turbos.
It goes in here, right here.
Well, the turbos are back here.
Well,
This is supposed to come down to the brakes.
it's in here. It's in here.
Okay.
And I stick my hand and I don't see it.
All right, so the turbo, yeah, here's the duct that goes to the turbo. Cool. So that duct goes here, all the way into the turbo area. Of course, we got the incredible monstrous wing and the height of it, right? It's about, I don't know, 11 inches height, given my hand on that. So, mega wing. Exhaust is just a bit different. And here we go. Here's the air cleaner. Here's the exhaust turbo connection.
Get above this.
Are we guys?
Door. And I looked over at the sales center. Oh well, I got a lot of nerve pain, but not like the burning pain. So most of the medicine is only like hot packs, cold packs. $100 worth of stuff that I bought. The best thing I could also think of.
We'll grab some quick content on that before we leave the video. Thank you folks for joining.